guys, welcome back. Joe here again from Good World Aquatics, part 2 of this pond build out. And man, it's pouring down rain and we got to get inside real quick. We're over at Don's place right now. We're welding up the bracket for the window insert. Let me show you what's going on. Alright guys, so what we're doing is we're actually going to be making what almost looks like a picture frame. We're cutting out the corners right now, and eventually we're going to weld them together. And then that glass is going to sit down inside here. Alright, so what we're doing is we're reprocessing some of this 4" by 4" angle iron, cutting off these rebars that were actually welded to it. I don't know why these were there, but whatever the case, we're cutting them off. Alright guys, a quick update on the pond bracket. As you can see, we are moving along on this thing. Today's job was to weld on the 4 tabs and all the corners. And this is what's actually going to mount it to the block wall. So we've already got the other side tack welded right now. We flipped the bracket over. And now we're hitting the other side. We're doing that because you don't want things to warp and get out of position. Because if you weld only one side, this will get sucked down, and that kind of screws things up. So we kind of flip it back and forth. You get the heat transfer moving from one side to the other, and then you get just a nice even, well, kind of an even weld, but also there's no warping within the steel. That's one of the things that a lot of the welders know, where you got to bounce back and forth so you don't throw something out of position or level. So now we're flipping over to this side right now.
Put that light on me so I can see this. I can't see this fucking mark. You see? All right, right there.
All right, guys, a quick update on the garage. Man, look at this. This is coming a long way. This is a big project, and it's finally starting to show its colors after all these months of working on this thing. So, as you can see, we've got the roof completely decked. The tie vac is on, the ice and water shield, drip edge, starter shingle, the roof ridge vent, and now we are fully shingled on both sides. Man, that job was a rough one. So, looking good. I mean, that was a big project, so now we're pretty much fully enclosed in. One of the next steps now is obviously to install the 2 windows. The door is going to be coming up here soon, but the big thing now is prepping for the concrete floor. Remember, we're going to be putting radiant heat down inside the ground, and we got to tamp it and get all ready for that. But here's something I want to show you real quick. We've got the bracket inside the garage. Just brought those back yesterday. So one of the next things we got to do now is drill a hole here, about 3 inches off the angle iron, 3 inches and 11 inches for pretty much all 4 sides. So that's what's going to mount this bracket to the concrete block wall for the pond. So, gotta knock that out. Then we're gonna wire brush the whole thing, grind it, paint it with some Pour 15, and we'll be on our way to be mounting this on the block wall. So let's get to work. All right, so we got this thing wire brushed and ground down a little bit. I still have a little bit more to do in this area here and over here, but we're definitely getting close. So I took the wire brush and the grinding wheel. We cleaned this up a little bit. I started working on the holes, so all 8 holes are opened up right now. I think we're at 3/8, but we're heading for a 1/2 inch. So I've got these lead anchors, these drop-ins right here. We're going to show you how we're going to use these. I'm going to be taking a masonry bit, the Hilti, and we're going to be drilling into the block wall, and these will go right through here and lock in. So we'll show you how that works here in a little bit. But other than that, we're getting kind of close. Just a little bit more wire brushing, a little bit more grinding, and then we're going to spray paint, or actually hand brush, this whole thing black with the Pour 15. Looking good though. All right, this morning I put the first coat of paint on Pour 15, and unfortunately it was silver, and I'm like, oh, I don't want silver. I want it black. One thing's for certain, you better clean your paintbrush when you're done using this stuff, or it's garbage. So, that being said, here we go. Second coat. Here comes the black. Here's something. All right, we got a couple of new friends already trying to live in the pond. Look at this. We got a frog right there. And a frog right there. Guys, we're not even set up yet, and you're trying to jump in the pond. We got to get the pond done first. Look at this guy. Ooh. He says, get the pond done.
Ribbit.
Ribbit. Nice. All right, so we got to cut out this pipe right here, which kind of hold us back right now from the bracket over there on the ground. So that's the very first step. Make the cut. We're probably going to put a cap over here on the left and the same on the right. And then with that, we're going to mount the bracket in for the first time. Get in position, level it out, and mark the holes for the drop-in anchors. So we'll show you that here in a second. We got the wall prepped right now, so everything's completely out of the way. I went ahead and cleaned off any excess mortar that was sticking out between the blocks, so we got somewhat of a smooth surface. I can come back later and grab these pipes right here on the end with a cap there and over here, so I'm not too worried about that right now. But here is the bracket. We're going to go ahead and pick this up, put it in position, clamp it down, and we're going to mark the holes so we know exactly where we're going to go ahead and drill. Okay, we're fine-tuning this thing now, so the level is level. And what I've done, we've actually put on 4 wood clamps that's holding the bracket in position. So one of the things I'm looking for right now is how this kind of flushes up against the block here and on both sides. But the one thing that just kind of caught my eye just a few seconds ago was this right here. And I really never accommodated for this, but looking at the bigger picture, we know that we've got the sandstone cappers coming, and obviously the stone veneer like we talked about back in video 1. But the one thing I never thought about, when that stone veneer comes around this edge right here, it's going to obviously get right close to the glass. But then we have this area down here, so I thought, well, heck, let's put a piece of sandstone in down here. So that being said, I raised this up just a little bit to give us a little bit of a cushion, so that when the stone comes in, the stone actually, well, I don't want to hit, but if it did hit, it would hit the steel and not hit the glass that's coming. So this is going to be a little bit of a buffer zone right here, so when that sandstone comes in. So that's going to be pretty nice right there. So we raised it up just a little bit. And the other thing too is, when we did do the math, we purposely raised these up a tad higher. Same thing, about a 2-inch piece of sandstone is going to be coming in right here. So we'll have just a little bit of a lip, maybe 3/4 of an inch right above that stone. And I probably see maybe a little bead of silicone coming in right here, but that'll work out. And then the glass will actually be just a tad higher, because remember the glass is 39 inches. It'll be up right here. So, but we purposely did this because of the sandstone that's going to sit on top of this. So you'll see how that's going to play out here in a little bit. But by tweaking this and getting it right to where we want to have its final location, the big thing is right here, is these 8 holes. I mean, once I drill that, that's it. So right now, like I said, we're just kind of tweaking everything and get exactly where we want it, because we only get one shot at these holes. But right now, I gotta believe we are there. 22. Obviously this is a hammer drill. And it's a masonry bit, obviously, and it's about a 5/8 diameter. So this is definitely what you want to use for dropping in this style of anchor. All right, guys, the very next step now that the holes are drilled is we're going to go ahead and put down this liquid nail, which I picked up from Home Depot. And this is a little bit different than the typical liquid nail that you see for like carpentry and subfloors. This is doing a lot of different stuff here. So it's good for obviously the wood, metal, glass, plastic, ceramic, marble, hardwood floor. So a lot of good stuff here on this one. So I noticed this one at Home Depot and I said, heck, let's use this right here. So this obviously is going to be working hand in hand with the lead anchors, the drop-ins, and we should be good to go. So let's go ahead and put down this liquid nail and move on to the next step. Yeah. All right, guys, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just getting the anchors in position. This is the last of the 8, so I just want to get everybody somewhat dialed in. Well, I wouldn't say dialed in, but closer where they have to be. Then we're going to go ahead and level it out, and then we're going to start tightening everything down. All right, let's go ahead and lock it in with the clamps. All right, guys, the bracket is in. I've got a couple clamps on it, just kind of holding it in position. All the lead anchors are in, and we're going to let that set up for the night, and we'll do our final tighten on those 8 lead anchors tomorrow. But other than that, we're looking pretty good. So that's going to wrap it up for this video right here. We'll see you on the next one where we're probably going to jump into the liner. The other thing that we're probably going to be doing is we're going to be shaping these corners out. I kind of came up with another concept as far as how the liner, the glass, and the bracket are all going to come together. So we'll talk about that in the next video. We'll see you on the next one. We're out of here.